Hey everybody, Arnaldo Walkman here with Arkaos Video Manuals, and today I'm actually going to build one of the two computers that I need to build. These are going to be scalable computers, so right now they're only going to run two heads out, two individual monitors, but we have the option of running 4, maybe even 6 monitors in the future if I want to, without having to upgrade anything but the video card. Now, of course, the guys at Arkaos were very helpful in helping me find the right parts to make this 1, powerful, 2, affordable, 3, easy to upgrade, and that would actually last for a while with their current software. Because, you know, things will change, so we need to make it somewhat future-proof. So a few different components that we have here. First of all, we have a hybrid 1 terabyte SSD 7200 RPM drive. Now, these are the ones you may be familiar with, where it's part SSD, part traditional, so that way the operating system loads really fast, the programs load really fast, the video clips and everything else load via traditional drive. But at 7200 RPM, they're not huge clips. It's going to work perfectly. This is the Intel i5. Now, I could have gotten the i7. Remember, the i7 has the hyper-threading on it. But the i5 is going to be great to run, you know, again, I'm not going to run 8 layers at one time. I know I'm not for what I need it for. If you're going to run 8 layers, you want to consider getting yourself the i7. But this is the, which one is this one? Because there are actually quite a few different ones I was looking at. This is the 4950. It was actually about $10 more than the step down, but the benchmarks show it to be a lot more powerful. Specs 3.3 gigahertz, 6 megabyte cache, and it is LGA 1150. There is a newer socket out there. It's a little bit more expensive, and it seems to be geared towards gamers. So I'm going to stick with the 1150 because I got a great motherboard for that. I'm going to show you in just a second. We have a 2 gigabyte GDDR5 EVGA GeForce GT730. If you're a gamer, this card's nothing special. But for video, this is great. Now, this card has VGA, HDMI, and DVI-D, which is obviously, you know, we have 2 different kinds of DVI. But I'm excited about the VGA because I can run 2 of them, and I'm going to be able to run it, you know, and we got 2 individual cards. For now, we have 1 for each individual monitor, or for each individual computer, excuse me, but we can run 2 heads out of 1 card. So that'll be nice and quickly easy to work with. On the other ones here, we have this really cool gigabyte motherboard. I'm going to go over that later. 1000 watt power supply. We got the Rosewell. I've had a lot of good luck with Rosewell, even over Antec or anything like that. And then the Intensity Pro. Definitely recommend this. This is the Blackmagic design card. It's got HDMI and then this little funky multi-port right here that you see allows regular S-video in. It allows composite in, component in. It's got a bunch of different inputs. It's got HDMI in or HDMI out. We have 2 because we're going to run 1 for our video camera, our SD video camera, and then 1 to run our laptop or video computer via, what's it called? HDMI in. So let's go and put this together. Oh, and also we just have, we have some pretty fast RAM, at least fast for what I need it for. We just started with 8 gigs. If I feel any more, I'll pick up another 8 gig stick, but 8 gigs should be enough. So, and of course, we got some server cases from our old computers. We're going to gut that out, put everything new in. Let's do this. One of the crazy things is that motherboard, which is being played with the cow right now, used to be top of the line and very expensive. Now it's going to go in the garbage. Whenever you're choosing your cases, you obviously want to make sure you have a proper ventilation system. 2 fans is not enough. You got to make sure that, you know, you first of all have what we call the proper convection, and that's a push-pull system. So you should be getting air sucked in and flowed out in the right way. If you have fans canceling each other out, then you're going to overheat the inside of the computer. So you want to make sure you kind of follow a good airflow path as you are designing your case. Now, in this case here, these fans are actually, when I said 2 is not enough, for case fans, these are going to be fine. But we also have fans, you know, for the cooling system for the video card. We've got a cooling system for the processor. I'm not going to go too crazy with it yet because I want to see where it's at as far as stock, you know, what I have right now, and we'll go from there, you know. So next thing, we're going to pop this guy out because the new motherboard obviously has a different layout. Now, this video card, as freaking Newegg advertised it wrong, this is not DVI-I, it's DVI-D. Now, what that means is DVI-D means digital. You cannot use a VGA to DVI converter. So I'm basically going to have to either run HDMI or DVI to the projector. Now, the cool thing with this card is that I could run 3 sources at the same time. So with 2 of these cards, I could run 3 projectors if I chose to. The only thing is, I hate HDMI with a passion. The board that I chose is the Gigabyte Z97X SLI. I'm actually a big fan of Gigabyte boards, and keep in mind I grew up on Foxconn and Asus. But here's why. First of all, it's affordable and I'm cheap, so that's good. But what we have here is, it's all USB 3.0. On the back, we have DVI, and it's, let me see, it's DVI digital, VGA, and HDMI. And it'll actually run 3 of them at the same time. I'm not going to do that though, but I am going to run the VGA to our primary monitor. We may run DVI as a preview monitor, but this will basically run the interface. And one of the things that Arkaos recommends is that you keep your GPU separate. So this GPU, you do not want to run, let's say you have 2 heads out of here, you don't want to run one for the interface and one for the projector. It can, but the guys in the programs from Arkaos, the engineers there, said you are better off running them separately. So this GPU, which will be the Intel graphics, is going to run the interface. Here's what I'm really excited about is how many ports we have. First of all, we have 3 of the PCI, little short PCI ports, right? And 2 of them are going to run this guy. And I can go pick up another generic, video capture card, or even another one of these if I wanted to, and have 3 video inputs. So that's really nice to have. And then we've got 2 PCI 16, the 3.0, or Express, the 3.0s. So I'm going to be able to run these at pretty much full speed, and it'll be just wonderful how it runs. It is SLI compatible. For those of you that don't know what SLI means, if you have an SLI video card. So let's say we have a video card here and a video card here. It'll combine both GPUs, so it'll do almost like a dual processor. Not saying that it's going to do 2 cards, because it always does that. That's nothing special. But I could literally take 2 cards and have this processor fire up with this processor out of one head and have it super powerful. So it's really cool for gaming and all that. And of course, you've got your, traditional SATA ports and all that. But this board here supports, I want to say, 32 gigs of RAM, which is insane. It does have the UEFI dual BIOS. And if you don't know what that is, don't worry about it. But it's a great board. And again, that is the Gigabyte Z97X SLI. Anybody that's ever built a computer before will probably tell you that this is the suckiest part. Just out of everything, these things are awful, and I wish somebody came up with a better design. And by that, I mean a design that was already integrated with a motherboard. These things suck to put in. Okay, so we have the card and everything put together, or the motherboard. One of the things I like about the motherboard is that the SATA slots are actually coming out the side versus the top, which means less stress on your cables because they're not going to be up like this. The Roseville Hive power supply. First of all, it's a fancy power supply when it's got this little bag, which I don't understand why, because it's not like I'm going to sit there and reconfigure it. It's color-coded. We've got black and red, or if you are looking at the dress, blue and gold. And we have SATA, floppy, and peripheral, because, we all want a floppy disk nowadays. And we have our PCI 6-pin, and then our PCIe 6 plus 2-pin right there. Or, they really could say 8. I don't understand some of this nerd speak. But let's put it together. I'm going to go ahead and just put these 2 on here. When I build the second computer, we just may order 2 more. And the reason that I want to do that is I just want to go ahead and really not have to worry about crashes or anything like that, because maybe I'm stretching, the specs too thin. Now, I know this card can easily run 2 monitors, but I want to go and experiment to see what happens if I run individual monitors on each GPU. So the 2 terabyte hard drive has been loaded in. Now this is a hybrid drive. This means that you have a 7200 RPM and SSD all put together in one. One of the things I want to stress out is that you never build this on a carpet. I did it because it was really the only place I had available, and I've done this for a while, and I have my anti-static strap and everything else. So whenever you build yours, please make sure, if you've never done this before, really research quite a bit about it. But make sure you do it on a table where there's no static. Wear gloves, wear an anti-static mat. Obviously, I'm not doing anything when I'm holding the phone. That's why I'm doing it on and off. But yes, I've done this before. I've done it for big corps, so I know what I'm doing. But if you don't, take every precaution you can. Also, if you have cats, they will make your day miserable. That's Munch. He's a little munchkin cat. Let me show you. He's got tiny legs. See? He's like Lieutenant Dan. Where's your legs? So, yeah.
He's got no legs.
These guys are going to make your life miserable. So don't build computers around cats. And it's finally put together. It has a really cool glowing LED light. That's unexpected. And of course, very modular power supply. Because we're not doing any of those crazy gaming cards None of this is hooked up. I only have one that basically runs the fan. I'm aware this one's off right now. That's because the cables were bad, so I ripped it off for now. I gotta go pick up another fan, obviously. But the hard drive and the fan are on the same one over here. So it's really nice that this is modular because I don't have a bunch of cables going around, and it's gonna make it much easier to put together and, you know, anything else that I may need to do. Again, what we have here is we've got 2 VGA outs, 2 HDMIs, and 2 DVI digital, so we can run simultaneously. On the back here, we have 2 HDMI ins, which we're going to use to, of course, run off one computer. And then we're going to use this handy-dandy converter. Let me see here where it's at. This guy right here with a million different cables coming out of it to do composite in. And that way I can run my video camera, because I run the Elation EVCMH, which is composite. But this does a really nice job upscaling it and making it look nice. Okay, so I just want to show you that I'm installing Windows. Here's my neat little monitor. Except that's not a monitor. That's the lid of the computer. Running with my little projector here. But super portable surface. Okay, so I had to take apart these cards or take them off, because I forgot that I wanted to boot into BIOS first and tell it that the default surface will always be integrated effects. Otherwise, it was trying to boot from these 2 cards, but not the HDMI port. Now, I know I said I hate HDMI, but right now I'm using HDMI to configure everything, or at least projector, because I don't want to bring out my monitors. So I'm literally using the computer lid hooked up to a little Brookstone projector so I can configure Windows. But yeah, so let me make a recommendation. Go into BIOS and you want to enable your IGFX, your integrated graphics card, as your primary display. These 2 will become secondary. So I have 8 layers running with transparency set, and it's running beautifully. You know, high-end graphics, full resolution. So this computer can really handle it. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, please make sure to leave them below. There's so many different ways to do this. This is something I actually spoke with the developers at Arkaos, and they were helping me out, picking out the right parts to just really make it flow nicely, and everything did play very well together. Again, remember, make sure that you don't do it on carpet like I did. So do as I say, not as I do. Thank you guys so much for watching. Good night, and God bless.